1830 was a year of revolution in Europe. Belgium, France, Switzerland, and in Greece, the struggle to independence from the Ottoman Empire was finally successful. And in this dramatic year, Poland was no exception. In this programme, we look at the November 1830 revolution, which gave the Poles 9 months of freedom, of independence, the only 9 months they had between the third partition of Poland in 1795 and the re-emergence of the Polish state after the First World War in 1918. Join us on Poland Daily History for this dramatic story. But there were some attempts, I think, were there not, for the administrative council as sort of reconfigured to take into account this revolution, still to negotiate with the Russians, because I think
that was very important, because
yes.
they sent a representation to the Tsar in order to get to know what is the Russian opinion of
because I think
this.
some felt that actually taking on the Russians was a bad move in any event. It could only end in tears.
But when the Tsar said, I'll try to say it in Russian, "Z miateżnikami rozgawarywać nie budu," I won't talk to the rebels. And then when the Polish representation came back and said that,
that was
Poland,
it.
That was it.
And they passed a resolution deposing Nicholas as King of Poland.
Of course, that is probably the most important political act in Poland in 19th century. The Polish Sejm deposes the Tsar on the 25th of January 1831. And the declaration says there is no more Nicholas.
Yes.
Nicholas is not there.
And
Nie ma
and I
Mikołaja.
think it's probably worth mentioning, this resolution was actually passed in the Royal Castle, I think.
Yes.
In the same room where in 1791 the 3rd of May Constitution had also been enacted. So there's a sort of parallel there, and again a new at the time a sort of new constitutional arrangement for Poland, or so they hope. But of course, by deposing the Tsar, this was actually essentially a declaration of war against Russia.
That was exactly. I mean, nothing more, nothing less. I mean, that was it. So the bridge got burned behind the Poles. So it was, and of course, what happens next is that the Russians sent an army here
Quite
to
a large
Poland.
army, 115,000, I think, something like that. Quite big.
Some say that even 200,000 people. But the thing, and this is really impressive, that when we take a look at the figures, I mean, Russia was at that time a country of 30 million men.
Right.
And they sent an army of 200,000. Poland had 4 million, was a 4 million population, so 10 times less. And we could produce an army of 100,000. So it was
a very impressive
immense effort.
Yeah, and can we just say, I mean, and of course, some of the individuals, like Prince Adam Czartoryski. Of course, Czartoryski had been, during the Napoleonic period, quite close to the Russians. I mean, and he became quite a key figure in the government at that time.
The point is that Czartoryski got disappointed. I mean, he was in his earlier days, he was a friend even to Tsar, and he was planning to make a certain marriage of Poland and Russia in order to civilize Russia. It was a very ambitious program. But it didn't work out, and Czartoryski, who was an extremely intelligent guy, I mean, spotted that, and when the situation was, and besides, I mean, he was a great Polish patriot, and when the Sejm offered him the role of the chairman or the prime minister, let's say, I mean, the chairman of the national government, because it was called like this, the national
That's
government.
right, yes.
I mean, he took the office.
He did. But because even at that stage, there were still some more radical elements, I think, at one point, who felt that the old guard, which was sort of keen to, or had been keen to...
The government was composed.
Yes.
It was a certain compromise. I mean, there were people from the left, like Level, for example, and people close to Adam Jerzy, more conservative, and also a tiny part, which was the center, let's say.
And so you always have this tension. And then, of course, we have the first major military encounter, which was at the Battle of Sochev.
Of Stoczek.
Stoczek, yes.
Mm-hmm. That was the first battle, a skirmish, better to say, maybe, a major battle.
Yeah.
But it was very important from the psychological point of view.
And who was leading the Polish forces at that time?
The General Dwernicki. I mean, he was
right.
sent. He was not the commander-in-chief, but he was, leading this, part of Polish troops.
I think, had he also seen service under Napoleon as well?
Dwernicki, if my memory serves me correctly, he was, an officer.
Quite a lot of these chaps had sort of cut their teeth, if you
and
might.
So it was a very good army. I mean, this army was composed of people who served under Napoleon, and they were very, very well trained men.
Well, they'd have taken part in some major military, in the latest major European military war, so they'd be highly skilled. And that battle, I think, was, as you say, you call it a skirmish, relatively inconclusive. I mean, a Polish victory, but not sufficiently a victory to sort of...
It didn't stop the Russian army.
Stop the Russian army.